You know that specific feeling in the pit of your stomach when you're watching a game and the air just, it vanishes from the room.
Mm-hmm.
You're watching a team that has been absolute perfection for 9 straight weeks. They are 9-0. They look invincible. They are playing at home. And then the third quarter hits. And suddenly, it's not just a bad play. It's a total systemic catastrophic failure.
The wheels didn't just fall off. I mean, the engine exploded.
Exactly. We're talking down 14 points, the largest deficit of the entire season.
Mhm.
The crowd is dead silent. You could hear a pin drop in that stadium. I think for like 99% of teams in college football, that is the moment they fold.
Oh,
They
absolutely.
look up at the scoreboard, they see the deficit, and they go, well, hey, 9-1 is still a great season. We had a good run.
But if we look at the data, and honestly, if we look at the heart of this squad, Wyoming isn't 99% of teams.
No, they are not. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are stripping down the absolute insanity that was the Wyoming versus Spartans game. And look, if you just check the box score on your phone, you see a W, you see a win. But our mission today is to figure out how. Because according to the play-by-play logs, the advanced stats, and the emotional Richter scale we've pulled, this wasn't a football game. It was a survival horror movie.
It really was. And the context here is massive. Before we even get to the plays, you have to remember the stakes. Wyoming is 10-0 now. That ties the program's all-time record for wins in a season.
It's historic.
It is historic. But to get that 10th win, they had to overcome arguably their worst quarter of football in years.
I was reading the game notes while prepping for this, and honestly, it felt like reading a crime scene report at times. So we're going to dissect this thing. We need to talk about the three-headed monster in the backfield, the special teams meltdown that almost killed the perfect season, and the specific decisions that saved it.
Yeah, we need to look at the anatomy of the comeback. Because on paper, they had absolutely no business winning this game.
So let's rewind to the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Kickoff. You're 9-0,
Mm-hmm.
expectations are sky high, and right out of the gate, it's sluggish, isn't it?
It is. And this is a trend we've seen, in the data all year. And it's something the coaching staff has to be worried about. Wyoming starts slow.
Right.
They stall out on the first drive, manage a field goal to go up 3-0, which is fine, points are points. But then we see the first crack in the armor. And shockingly, it wasn't on offense or defense.
A kickoff coverage.
Right. The source material describes the special teams unit as napping, which I think is generous.
A little generous, yeah.
In week 10, playing for a perfect season, you cannot have lane discipline issues. The Spartans catch the ball, the returner finds a seam, and he takes it all the way to the house. Immediately, it's 7-3 Spartans.
Yeah.
That's a massive momentum swing. You work hard, you grind for a field goal, and 10 seconds later, you're losing. But I want to talk about the response, because this is where that Wyoming identity we love comes in.
Mm-hmm.
They don't panic. They don't start throwing the ball all over the yard. No. And this is where having a veteran like Teron Kelman matters. They get the ball back, and they don't get cute. They go right back to the run game. Kelman punches in his 9th rushing touchdown of the season. It was a stabilizer.
Which calmed everyone down. 10-7, Wyoming leads. But the Spartans, man, they clearly scouted the Wyoming secondary. They knew there were holes there.
They did. And this is a technical mismatch we need to highlight. Right after Kelman scores, the Spartans isolate the receiver, Jahari Johnson. Now, Wyoming plays a pretty aggressive scheme, but on this play, there is a total communication breakdown.
Oh, a total breakdown.
Johnson finds a massive gap. We're talking nobody within 10 yards of him for a 57-yard catch.
57 yards. That is demoralizing for a defense.
It is. But here's the key metric. Bend, don't break. Despite giving up that explosive play, they force the Spartans to kick a field goal. So end of the first quarter, we are tied 10-10.
Which feels like a win for Wyoming, considering everything.
He does.
Now, moving to the second quarter, I want to nerd out for a second on this one play call. We usually talk about Wyoming as this ground and pound team.
Right.
But this play with Nate Johnson and KJ Parker, this was pretty...
You're talking about the jet motion play.
Yeah. For those listening who might hear that term on broadcasts, what exactly is jet motion accomplishing here? Why did it work so well?
So jet motion is when you send a fast receiver, KJ Parker, sprinting across the formation right before the snap. What that does is it freezes the linebackers. Their eyes have to track that speed. That split-second hesitation creates a massive lane inside.
It's using horizontal speed to create vertical space.
Exactly. And they sold it perfectly. The defense flowed hard with the motion. Nate Johnson kept it, and they just walked in.
Yeah.
That put the Pokes up 17-10. But And here's the big but that haunts defensive coordinators
So
everywhere.
to finish the half.
Exactly. There were about 4 minutes left. Wyoming's offense stalls. They give the Spartans the ball back with 2 minutes and 25 seconds. In college football, that is,
An eternity.
it's an eternity. And the Spartans capitalized. Their quarterback, Robert McDaniel, was surgical. Connects with Nick Tyree, touchdown, 17-17 at the half.
And I want to flag this because you pointed this out in the notes. This is a recurring theme, isn't it?
It is. The analysis points it out. The Wyoming offense is doing its job, but the defense is struggling to close out quarters. They let teams hang around. And when you let a talented team hang around,
You're playing with fire.
precisely, you keep letting them hang around, eventually you're going to get burned.
Which brings us to the third quarter. Or as I called it in my notes, the absolute disaster.
That's a fair title. If the first half was a boxing match, the third quarter was Wyoming stepping on a rake and hitting themselves in the face, repeatedly.
It starts with special teams again. The defense actually forces a 3-and-out to open the half. Great start.
Right.
But then, the punt return.
Tyler Nystrom. The notes say he got absolutely leveled, but looking at the film, he tried to do too much. He didn't secure the catch first. He coughs up the ball, fumble, Spartans recover, and score. 24-17 Spartans.
I want to pause on the psychology of that. You're a defender. You just stopped him. You're walking to the sideline, and suddenly you have to run back out there. How damaging is that?
It's devastating. It sucks the oxygen out of the entire stadium. It creates resentment between the units. The defense feels like they can't trust the special teams, and it puts massive pressure on the offense.
And that pressure leads to mistakes.
It does. Nate Johnson, the quarterback, is usually so poised. But on the next drive, he presses. He drops back. Protection breaks down a little. He gets hit right as he throws.
The dreaded flutter ball.
Worst case scenario, it goes directly to a Spartan safety. Interception.
And the sources point out a trend here, right? This isn't just bad luck.
Correct. The analytics show Wyoming has struggled offensively in the second half of games all season. They come out flat, and here it compounded. The Spartans take that turnover, they march down the field, and they punch it in again.
And suddenly, you look up. Into the third quarter, the score is 31-17.
That 14-point deficit, the largest hole they've been in all season?
So, okay, let's role play this. You're in the huddle. Fourth quarter starts. You're down 2 scores. Your special teams is a mess. Your QB just threw a pick. The defense hasn't stopped anyone. How do you even begin?
You have to stop looking at the scoreboard. You have
Yeah.
to go back to your identity. You can't get 14 points in one play. You have to grind.
And that's what they did. The start of the fourth quarter wasn't pretty. It was painful. It was slow.
It was a slog, but it was effective. They chewed up clock, moved the chains, and finally, Duke Clark rushes it in from 6 yards out.
Okay, so now it's 31-24. We have a ball game, but we have a new problem. The clock.
Time was the enemy. Only 4 minutes and 31 seconds left. And remember, the Wyoming defense hasn't stopped the Spartans at all in the second half.
This was the moment of truth. If the Spartans get 2 first downs, the game is over.
It's over.
Tenziel is gone.
But the defensive line finally stepped up. They got pressure, forced a punt, and gave the ball back to the offense with 2 minutes and 26 seconds left.
Now, this next sequence, I really want to dig into this because it highlights a strategic dilemma in football that I don't think fans think about enough.
You're talking about the double-edged sword of the quick score.
Right. Wyoming has the ball. They need 80 yards. Most people are thinking, okay, 2-minute drill, sideline passes, get out of bounds.
Instead, Duke Clark says, watch this.
First play of the drive, the first play. Clark finds a seam, and we'll talk about it more in a minute, and he is gone. 80 yards to the house.
It was an incredible athletic feat. The stadium exploded, but from a tactical coaching perspective, there is a legitimate argument that he scored too fast.
Too fast. He tied the game. How can that be bad?
He did, but look at the clock. There were 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. You just handed the ball back to a Spartans offense that has been moving the ball on you all day. You gave him the last shot to win it in regulation.
That's wild to think about. You almost want him to get tackled at the 1-yard line so you can bleed the clock.
Yeah. In a perfect world, yes. But you never tell a player not to score. You take the points. But the risk was real. And suddenly, the defense is back on the field, exhausted.
So now the Spartans have the ball. Tie game. If the defense falters here, that amazing 80-yard run is just a footnote in a loss.
And that's why Dante Drake deserves a massive amount of credit. The stats will just show 1 sack, But the context is everything.
And with 1 minute and 15 seconds left.
Exactly. Dante Drake gets home. A massive sack that kills the drive and forces the punt. This was the moment, not the touchdown, but the sack, where the momentum fully 100% swung to Wyoming.
So now Wyoming gets the ball back again. 1:15 left. Chance to win it. And this drive, this was a masterclass.
The polar opposite of the previous drive, that one was chaos. This one was surgical.
They moved the ball efficiently. And then Duke Clark breaks free again. He takes it down to the 16-yard line. But notice what he does.
He doesn't try to score.
He goes down.
That shows incredible football IQ. He knows they're in field goal range. He knows if he scores, the Spartans get the ball back. So he goes down. They wind the clock all the way down to 3 seconds.
Kick the field goal as time expires.
An absolute pandemonium. 10th win of the season. 10-0.
It really was the perfect ending to a deeply imperfect game.
Yeah.
We have to talk about the personnel because this offense is evolving. We always talk about the three-headed monster in the backfield.
It's the engine of the whole team, but the balance is shifting.
Let's look at the numbers.
So you have Nate Johnson, the QB. Over 500 rushing yards, 7 touchdowns. He's your threat on the edge. Then you have the hammer, Teron Kelman. Almost 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns.
He's your workhorse.
Right. But the story of this game was Duke Clark.
Absolutely. Clark's stat line for this game alone, 144 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, plus 2 catches.
And that 80-yard run to tie it, that's his second consecutive 100-yard game. And we need to look at the roster context here. This isn't just about a hot hand. Teron Kelman is a senior. He is graduating.
So we are witnessing the passing of the torch in real time.
Essentially, yes. Clark has 2 years of eligibility left. He is proving right now, under the highest pressure, that he is the future of this backfield. When the game was on the line, they went to Clark.
And he delivered.
Eh.
So zooming out, 10-0.
And no.
That ties the most wins in a season in program history. And there is still 2 games left.
And more importantly, this win comes with a guarantee. Wyoming has secured a berth in the Mountain West Championship. They are going to the title game.
That is huge. But
Yeah.
they can't just coast now, can they?
No, absolutely not. They have 2 games remaining, both at home against Air Force and UConn.
Let's talk about that Air Force matchup. That is not a team you want to play when you're having defensive breakdowns.
No. Air Force runs the triple option. For listeners who don't know, it's all about discipline. They force you to cover the dive, the quarterback, and the pitch man on every single play. If your linebackers are napping like the special teams were this week, Air Force will run for 400 yards on you. They will keep the ball for 40 minutes and you will lose.
And UConn is no pushover either. But having both at home has to be an advantage.
It is. They are chasing that record-breaking 11th win, being at home, riding this emotional high. The atmosphere in Laramie is going to be electric.
It really feels like destiny at this point. I mean, when you survive a game like this, down 14, turning the ball over, and you still find a way to win, that builds a different kind of confidence.
It does. It builds resilience. It tells the locker room that no matter what the scoreboard says, they are never out of the fight. That's a dangerous trait.
So to recap, Wyoming goes down big. It looks like the perfect season is dead in the water. But the defense gets the one stop they need, Duke Clark turns into a superhero, and they walk off with a field goal to stay undefeated.
10 Geloto.
A true anatomy of a comeback.
It's the kind of game you talk about for years.
It is. I want to leave the listener with a thought here. A bit of a reality check.
Always bringing us back to earth. What is it? We talked about the resilience, and that's real. But we also have to look at the trend lines. The offense relies heavily on the run. They've struggled in the second half of games. They needed late-game heroics to beat a team they should have handled. My question is this sustainable?
That is the big question.
Against a disciplined machine like Air Force or in the Mountain West Championship game, if you dig yourself a 14-point hole in the third quarter again, will the luck run out? You can't always rely on an 80-yard touchdown to save you. Is this true resilience, or is Wyoming just playing with fire?
Ooh, that gives me chills. Playing with fire, indeed. But for now, the fire is still burning bright in Wyoming. 10-0, chasing history. We'll be watching closely next week. Thanks for diving in with us, everyone. We'll catch you on the next one.